This story is about how an Australian woman is providing education to girls in one of the poorest countries. There are many barriers that prevent children from accessing education. Besides funding, untrained teachers, there's another barrier. If the child is of the wrong gender, if the child is a girl. This is due to long held cultural perceptions of the role of girls and women in these societies. India is one of these societies. I am a Singaporean Indian woman, born to Indian migrant parents. I am the first woman in my mother's side of the family to graduate from university. I'm in no way smarter or more driven than they are. They are remarkable women, insightful, sharp, multilingual. It's just that they were only ever seen as wives and mothers. What can we do? In this podcast, I meet people who are putting their ideas into action and focusing on the good they can do for their neighbors, communities, citizens, and the world. Nina Sakprasit from Brisbane, Australia, is changing the lives of girls and young women who live over 10,000 kilometers away from her through her homegrown business, Vivra Co. Australia.
So I provide eyelash extension services or beauty services to women in the Brisbane community. And with each service provided, I fund the education of girls living in poverty in Malawi, Africa.
Nina's story demonstrates how easy it is in our digital reality for anyone to help communities in another part of the world. The barriers to helping seem to be diminishing. Nina's desire to help started when she was very young, because of her family and community.
In Australia, there's actually a very strong Lao community. A lot of my friends growing up, all our parents were Laos who actually, were also migrants or refugees. It was very common to go to an Australian school, but also understand the whole customs and the traditions and the cultures of Laos as well. Everyone takes care of each other. They are very community focused.
Nina's father arrived in Australia as a refugee from Laos in 1979. He soon set up a community centre to help people from his own community and other communities too. Her father has had a huge impact on Nina's outlook.
As a child, I went to Laos, and one evening I saw my dad, he fed a little boy, and then for the rest of the evening, that little boy was following my father around. That experience specifically, that was probably the one defining moment in my life which led me to care about children and about those experiencing poverty, because I'm very passionate about the cause and helping people. So I grew up in Ipswich. I was born there and I went to, a normal public school. And then I went to uni in Brisbane, went to QUT studying business. And I wasn't actually interested in my studies at all because I had no purpose to attach to it until the very last year when I started joining different uni societies. They encourage you to become more worldly and to take on new opportunities. And after that, that's when I realized I could use business to actually help people.
After university, Nina was unemployed for a while and struggled with money, so she lived at home with her parents. A business that would pay forward to help people still stuck in her mind, but she didn't know what business to start.
I could not stick to one single idea and I wasn't motivated to just set up. My friends, they actually run their own beauty service. I kind of had an understanding the course only takes a day or two. Beauty industry or the market, it's huge. I was like, why don't I enter into this space? I can set up easily like over a week or a month and I can just grow my clientele and I can make enough money from it to give back.
Nina knew she wanted to work towards women's empowerment and was focused on girls' education. This was yet another social issue she understood due to her family exposure.
Because I have seen the issues that they face, even from where my mum was from too. By the age of 25, most of them are encouraged to get married instead of pursuing careers. And it's just the social structures, and it's a bit unfair. In developing nations, if families can't afford their children to go to school, they'll most definitely always put the boy forward first. By putting them into education, it gives them an equal chance, to fulfill their potential and to, make a contribution to the community.
Nina knew how and where she could help. All that was left was to find a beneficiary organization.
I was involved in a social enterprise startup community group. I posted a question there looking for a partnership with somebody who was involved in the education space in the developing community. A few people there referred me on to Emmanuel, who is actually the director of Bikama Academic Center, who is also a social enterprise. I started talking to him, and he sent me a lot of the research that he had done and a lot of information up on the school, and that had affirmed my partnership with him over the past few months that we've been working together. It's built more trust. There's a lot of transparency, and in terms of working together, we work great.
The total cost of one girl's education in Malawi for a year is about 38 Australian dollars, which is about 26 US dollars. To date, Nina has sponsored the education for 40 girls. Her contributions have possibly altered the course of these girls' lives, along with those who come after them. This change is profound. It has changed their self-perception and culture of thinking.
I spoke to Emmanuel, and I'm like, have you seen a difference in the scholarship program that we've put them in? He's like, yes, I have, especially from the mentorship. Before, the girls, they just wanted to look for partners. They didn't even think of pursuing careers or building a business. They didn't think of that at all. Because, ingrained in them, that's what they were just taught. It's just easier to just find someone to marry or, get into an arranged marriage with someone much older who's not right for them. But he said that now they've seen that they've felt more compelled within themselves that they can actually achieve more and start living more independent lives.
These aren't just expectations faced by the girls in Malawi. Closer to home, Nina has the same problem.
My mom, I don't know, it's not her fault or anything, but it's ingrained in the culture. It's instead of telling me go pursue a career, go live an independent life, go make your own money, it was you need to look like this, dress like this, act like this, so you can find a husband to look after you. I hate that.
This brought us to the topic of whether it was an especially challenging time to be a woman. And this is where I realized something. That the older we get, the more jaded we become. But talking to someone like Nina, who's young, passionate, and really just trying to focus on the good she can do, is encouraging.
I think that now it's actually getting better. Women are voicing out and have the ability to do that, and people are understanding the inequalities in society and becoming more accepting and aware of it. So I think it is, there are still challenges, but it is less challenging because people are becoming more understanding and open and aware of what the difficulties that women face.
If there's anyone who's aware, it's Nina, and she's very focused on what her next steps are.
I actually want to eventually employ disadvantaged women in Brisbane into the business, maybe it be refugee or migrant women. And I also actually am looking to do more creative workshops for women to create a community, like a social community. Like I'm about empowering women and making them feel good and do good, and just setting up a space for them where they can relax and feel comfortable, and do it in a workshop where they can meet other women like them, and we can make beauty products.
Nina credits a lot of her vision and clarity to having a good support network.
Mine, what really helped me is to get as much support as I can and to tell everybody that I meet what I want to do, because everybody has a connection, everybody has an idea, and everybody one way or another will have some kind of feedback to give. And you can only grow from that. I would not have been able to do this with my mentor from that social startup group, who helped me set up with Emmanuel.
Finding a good mentor takes time.
Looking for a mentor, I think research as well. Ask people, and then obviously see the work that they've done, see the connections that they have as well, and the network and feedback from people who've worked under them. And also just whether you have a connection with them is very, very important. My mentor was always there to answer my questions, and he always put in more effort than I ever expected. So you see what they're like as a person, and if they match what you value and what you want to do, and if they just match your energy.
Nina knows where she's headed, and a lot of it comes from her very practical approach to the world.
We get so consumed with our thoughts, with our fears and anxieties, and with the what ifs that it inhibits us from actually doing anything. And for me, it's just do one small step at a time and do it every day. Yes.
After listening to Nina talk about her vision and how she started her journey achieving it, I feel like no one has an excuse in an ideal world. Most of us have the tools to get something small but significant started. Are you ready to take your first step? Thank you for listening. If you'd like to find out more about Vivreco Australia, you can visit them on their website, www.vivreco.com.au. This podcast is available on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and Anchor. You can get updates via the Facebook page, www.facebook.com/whatcanwedo.podcast. This podcast was produced and edited by me, Prema Menon, with the help of my script editor, Lisa Nadolski.